elegant. Speaking of Luo Zi, a native of Pizhou, his parents passed away very early. When he was 8 or 9 years old, he was adopted by his uncle Luo Dai. Luo Dai served as the imperial eunuch and was rich but had no sons. He loved Luo Zi as if he were his own son. When Luo Zi was 14 years old, he was lured by a bad guy to visit a prostitute. At that time, there was a prostitute from Jinling who lived in this county. Luo Zi liked her very much and was fascinated by her. The prostitute returned to Jinling, and Luo Zi secretly followed her and fled his hometown. After living in a brothel for half a year, he spent all his money. The prostitutes laughed at him, but did not immediately send him away. Soon, Luo Zi's body was covered with syphilis sores, which turned stinky and stained the bed mat, so he was kicked out of the brothel. He had to beg for food in the street market, and people on the street stayed away when they saw him. Luo Zi was afraid of dying in a foreign land, so he begged for food and headed west. Walking 30 or 40 miles every day, we gradually reached the border of Pizhou. Then, he thought that his clothes were in tatters, filthy with abscesses, and he was too shameless to go home, so he was still wandering around in the nearby county. One evening, Luo Zi wanted to stay in a temple in the mountains. I met a woman on the road who was as beautiful as a fairy. The woman approached him and asked, "Where are you going?" Luo Zi said the truth. The woman said, "I am a monk and live in a cave." Entering the deep mountains, I saw a cave house with a small stream flowing in front of the door and a long stone bridge across the stream. A few steps across the bridge, there are 2 stone rooms. The room is bright, and there is no need to light a lamp. The woman asked Luo Zi to take off his rags and take a bath in the stream, saying, "Wash and this sore will be cured. Take some large banana leaves, cut them and sew them." Luo Zi lay on the bed and watched. After a while, the woman's clothes were sewn, folded it neatly, put it on the bedside, and said, "Put it on tomorrow morning." After saying that, he fell asleep on the bed opposite. After Luo Zi took a bath, he felt that the sores on his body no longer hurt. When I woke up and touched it, I found thick scabs. Luo Zi said, "Let me repay your great kindness." So the two slept together, and they were very happy. One day, a young woman came in with a smile and said, "Little ghost Pian Pian is dying. You have not stepped foot on your feet for a long time. Damn it, the southwest wind is strong today and brought you here." "I brought the child." "Really?" The young woman said, "I've just coaxed you to sleep, and I'm already asleep." So they all sat down together and entertained her with a banquet. The young woman looked at Luo Zi again and said, "The incense burned by the young man is so good." Luo Zi saw that she was 23 or 4 years old and still very beautiful, and he liked her very much. When peeling the fruit, it accidentally fell under the table. Huacheng said with a smile, "Your young man is too unruly. If he hadn't been jealous of the gourd lady, I'm afraid he would have jumped into the clouds." Pian Pian also sneered and said, "Frivolous things. You should freeze to death." The two of them filmed. Palm laughed. Huacheng left the table and said, "When the little girl wakes up, I'm afraid her intestines will burst from crying." Pian Pian picks up fallen leaves and stores them for winter. Seeing Luo Zi shivering from the cold, she took a baggage, went to the entrance of the cave to catch white clouds, and made them into cotton clothes. As soon as Luo Zi put it on, he felt as warm as a real cotton coat and very light. A year later, Pian Pian gave birth to a son, who was very smart and beautiful. Pian Pian said, "I can't go with you. Otherwise, you can go by yourself." After 2 or 3 years of delay, the son gradually grew up, so he and Huacheng became in-laws. Luo Zi was worried that his uncle was old and had no one to take care of him. After Bauer gets married, it's up to you whether he stays or leaves. When Pian Pian was in the cave, she would always write words on leaves to teach her son to read, and his son would understand it as soon as he saw it. Pian Pian said, "This child is born with blessings. If he comes to the world, he will not worry about becoming a high official." The family reunited and held a banquet to celebrate. After drinking, Huacheng left. Pian Pian and his wife let their son and daughter-in-law live in opposite rooms. The new daughter-in-law is very filial and attached to Pian Pian's knees, just like her biological daughter. Luo Zi said again that he wanted to go back. "You can take him with you." The new daughter-in-law was about to go home and say goodbye to her mother, but Huacheng had already arrived. Pian Pian cut the leaves into donkeys, and the three of them rode back. He saw yellow leaves all over the road and white clouds, and he lost the entrance of the cave. He could no longer find the trace, so he had to return in tears.
Alright, this story has come to an end. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you.